But the news was just announced that WNBA TV ratings are down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark's injury. And it was also reported that the Indiana Fever television viewership is also down over 53%. Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA.
The moment Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA went down with her. And no, that's not some overblown headline or Twitter hot take. It's cold reality. You could actually feel the air being sucked out of the season in real time. 1 second, this league was riding the biggest wave of momentum it had ever seen. Record ticket prices, packed arenas, nonstop ESPN coverage. The next second, silence, empty seats, half the audience walking out the digital door. And the timing made it sting even worse. For years, league executives kept telling anyone who would listen, this is the season. This is the year we finally prove we belong on the same stage as the NBA. They weren't just selling basketball. They were selling hope, hype, and the idea that women's hoops had finally found its golden ticket. And Clark was that ticket. But all it took was one awkward fall, one brutal injury, to expose the truth. That so-called golden ticket wasn't the league, it was her. The entire empire was balanced on the back of one rookie. And when she went down, the foundation crumbled like sandcastles against a rising tide. Think about that for a second. A professional sports league that's been around for nearly 3 decades, claiming it's stronger than ever, undone in a matter of weeks. Ratings are collapsing faster than your phone battery at 2 a.m. Ticket prices are falling like they're on a clearance rack nobody wants to touch. And leadership? They're still pretending everything is fine. This was supposed to be the year of proof. Instead, it's turned into the biggest embarrassment in WNBA history, an unraveling so shocking that even longtime critics are saying, we didn't think it would get this bad, this fast.
Is there any chance that the WNBA, that Kathy Engelbert saw some of the ratings that I'm about to show you now and said, hey, Indiana Fever, can you do us a favor? Can you do us a solid? Can you just tease a Caitlin Clark return, kind of boost these up a little bit? Can you just dangle a Caitlin Clark return in front of the fans' faces, try to boost these ratings up a little bit? There was one matchup that this league can consistently rely on to produce massive viewership.
Now let's put emotion aside for a second and just look at the cold, brutal math. League-wide TV ratings? Down over 50%. Indiana Fever's viewership? Down more than 53%. That's not a dip. That's not even a slump. That's a free fall, like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. The very week Caitlin Clark was sidelined, it was like millions of eyeballs disappeared into thin air. One moment, fans were flooding broadcasts, lining up for streams, and crashing ticket websites just to catch a glimpse of her in action. The next? Crickets. And here's where it gets darker. The numbers fell so hard, so fast, that whispers started leaking out of league offices. Rumors that executives were practically begging the Indiana Fever to keep hope alive. Not to actually rush Clark back. Everyone knew she was done for the season. But to tease it. To drop little hints that maybe, just maybe, she could make a miraculous return. Not reality. Just smoke and mirrors to keep fans glued to the screen. Can you imagine the desperation? You're supposed to be running a professional sports league, and your survival strategy is dangling false hope in front of your fans like bait on a fishing line. That's not stability. That's panic. Because deep down, the league knows the truth. Without Caitlin Clark, their product isn't moving. The spotlight fades, the excitement evaporates, and suddenly the WNBA looks like what its harshest critics always claimed it was, forgettable. And if you think that's dramatic, just wait. Because the numbers are only the beginning. The real story is how this collapse is being felt inside arenas, locker rooms, and boardrooms across the league. This was supposed to be the year the WNBA finally exploded. New media deals, record-breaking ticket sales, national attention like never before. But instead, Clark's injury revealed the ugly truth. The league was completely built on one star. Every commercial, every headline, every broadcast revolved around her. And the moment she was gone, the entire system collapsed like a Jenga tower in an earthquake. The worst part? The league still tries to spin this as if everything is fine. They'll post flashy highlight reels, glowing press releases, even recycled motivational quotes. But fans aren't buying it anymore. Because when the product on the court feels empty, no amount of spin can cover the cracks.
A shocker. Imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when Uncle Casey found out that the WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark. To make matters worse, and this is something I have definitely noticed in the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially since the All-Star game, the WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain interest.
The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, had one job: protect her stars. And she failed, miserably. Night after night, Clark was treated like a human crash test dummy. Defenders hammered her, shoved her, hacked her, and referees just let it happen. If this were the NBA, those same plays would have drawn instant whistles, technicals, even suspensions. Because leagues that actually understand business know this. You don't let your most valuable asset get battered until they break. But in the WNBA, Clark was left completely unprotected. And now the league is paying the price. Clark wasn't the only one. This season has been an injury graveyard. One star after another sidelined. From freak accidents to reckless fouls, it feels less like basketball and more like a season-long episode of How Fast Can We Empty the Bench? And then came Angel Reese. Instead of sticking it out, she walked away mid-season. In another league, that would have been a scandal. Here, it just looked like another player fed up with chaos. And honestly, can you blame her? Who wants to keep playing in a league where referees officiate like they're blindfolded and leadership treats player health like an optional suggestion?
NBA's black superstars should thank their lucky stars for the record ratings Caitlin Clark is detonating, even if new fans are mostly white fans. It doesn't matter what color eyeballs are. But the other day, I must admit, it hit me like Katie Bell Henderson telling me that's enough. I told myself it's not racist for me to...
For years, the WNBA tried to convince the public that growth was happening, that finally, fans were showing up in droves. But fans aren't dumb. They notice when numbers don't add up. On social media, people started pointing out how ESPN conveniently avoided showing the ratings dip during the All-Star game. They noticed how the league promoted games as record-breaking, while cameras showed rows of empty seats. And now, those same fans are calling the bluff, posting memes of tumbleweeds rolling through arenas and clowning the league in the comments. Once the illusion breaks, it doesn't come back. Let's be brutally honest. The WNBA thought every arena this year would look like a Taylor Swift concert. Instead, it looks more like a clearance aisle at a bankrupt department store. Without Clark, ticket sales collapsed. Stadiums that once buzzed with energy now echo with silence. You can practically hear concession workers begging fans to buy a hot dog just to make the night feel less depressing. And yet, on Twitter and Instagram, the league posts glossy clips with captions like, "Another electric night of WNBA action." Meanwhile, the replies are filled with fans saying, "Electric? Where? In what universe?" When your own promotional tweets become comedy material for your audience, you've officially lost the room.
Indiana, against the Chicago Sky, right after that game, they opened an investigation once again into the fans, where they found nothing, but the damage had already been done at that point. If some of these things happen just one time here and there, or there's one certain media personality who's just always saying these kind of things, then whatever. I feel like fans as a whole can be like, okay, whatever, this person is just a hater. But this is something that has happened over and over and over again, and over time, it starts chipping away at how much you're going to actually care and want to support an organization if they continue to do.
And then there's the commissioner. On TV, she claims the league is stronger than ever. That momentum is building. That growth is undeniable. That's not leadership. That's delusion. It's like the captain of the Titanic bragging about how nice the ship looks underwater. Fans don't want empty slogans. They want accountability. They want a league that values its players, protects its stars, and respects the people paying for tickets. Instead, they're watching leaders pat themselves on the back while the foundation collapses beneath them. At the end of the day, sports are simple. Protect your stars, and fans will follow. Every major league understands this. The NFL protects quarterbacks like they're priceless works of art. The NBA doesn't hesitate to call fouls on anyone who breathes too hard on LeBron or Curry. But the WNBA let Caitlin Clark, the most important player in its history, get hammered night after night until her body finally gave out. And now, ratings are gone. Ticket sales are gone. Casual fans are gone. Because without Clark, the WNBA isn't just struggling. It's irrelevant. So here's the truth. This was supposed to be the breakout year. Instead, it turned into the year that exposed everything wrong with the WNBA. Leadership that refuses to protect its stars. Officiating that looks like a comedy sketch. Ticket sales vanishing. Ratings in freefall. And most of all, a league that put all its eggs in one basket, then stood by while that basket was smashed to pieces. The WNBA can keep pretending this season was about momentum, but fans know better. Without Caitlin Clark, the league is standing on the edge of collapse. And the real question now is this. If Clark decides the league isn't worth saving, who will be left to watch it all?